Auntie Precious, you don't understand. My parents are so annoying. So annoying. My mom is the most difficult person in the world. She's just so judgmental. She doesn't understand a bit of the things I say, and we are always coming head on. Is that you? Do you think your parents are just out of this world in terms of understanding you? Well, this video is for you, so ride with me. So how can I, as a teenager, deal with my parents who are presumably difficult? Now, first of all, you have to know that your parents love you. I know there are exceptions. There are parents that you just beat your chest and say, no, she hates me, he hates me, my mom hates me, my both parents, they hate me. But for the most part, they are always loving. Just that some of the approaches they take in doing things or in training us are not often acceptable in our own way. So one of the things you need to know about your parents is that they love you as a teenager, so that whatever they do, you put it in the context of love and know that this is them expressing their love. For instance, if they insist you must get back to the house by 6 p.m., then they are doing it out of love. They're not trying to restrain you. They're not trying to cut short your joy. They're not trying to stop you from having fun and excitement. They're only trying to protect you as their lovely daughter or as a lovely son. So take it in good faith. Then the next thing you need to know about your parents is that they want your good. They want you to be responsible. They want you to keep yourself. They want to protect you for the most part. And that's why they do some of the things they do. So they could make some decisions that may not really go well with you. They may make some family rules or boundaries that you really don't find funny. But you also have to know, again, they are doing it for my good, and I need to understand it and accept however the game goes. The next you need to know about your parents is that you need to understand the gap between you and them. Now, a parent, probably you are the last baby of the house and you are 15, for instance, and you are the last daughter or the last son. It means that your parents could be around maybe 40 or 50s, you know, or even in their 70s. It's possible, especially for parents that didn't get married on time. In which case, you are in a different generation from theirs. It means that there are some things you may find funny, which they don't. I remember sometime when I was younger, we would travel to the village with my cousin, and my cousin would be dancing. You know, she's a very active person, and my grandmother would be like, why is she dancing? Who is playing the tune to which she's dancing? Who is playing her music? Is this girl mad? She doesn't understand her. And thinking about it now, I just know that two of them are not in the same generation at all. This one is smart, is lively, is, you know, she just wants fun. She just wants to be shaking her body, moving her body all the time. Whereas my grandmother was already close to her grave. She's slower to things. She's more reserved, you know. So she doesn't understand why this one is always excited, always dancing, always happy, and always very super active, okay? So you should understand your parents and know that, oh, they don't understand some of the things I do because we are not in the same generation. They don't understand why I'm always on my phone. They don't understand that sometimes when I'm pressing my phone, I'm not just chatting. I could be writing with my phone. I could be, you know, designing things with my phone. I could be doing so. They're always worried that I'm pressing my phone all the time, so that I'm always charging my phone all the time. They're always saying I'm learning bad things on the internet, you know. So you have to bear with them, okay? Now, the next thing you could do is to have conversations with the parents. Some parents may not want this. Some parents just want to give order, give instructions, don't want to have conversations with the teenagers. They just want to say a thing and it stands, especially for authoritative fathers. They just want it to be the way they've said it. But what you can do as a teenager who wants to have a great relationship with their parents is to ask for a conversation, is to ask for conversations with them. And mind you, it doesn't have to be when things are going wrong, when the fire is already on the mountain. No, it has to be when the ground is neutral, when there's peace, you know. And you could have that conversation with them and say, okay, Mom, I think I want us to renegotiate this time that you say everyone has to be at home. Having to be at home by 6 is brilliant, but because of 1, 2, 3, 4 things I do, I think I need some more time you could raise mine to 6:30 or 7 so that I can be able to do the things I need to do. And it's a conversation. It's a conversation. Okay, mom, why did you say I shouldn't do this? Why did you say I shouldn't visit that friend? Why did you say? I need to know. If they're your parents, and I'm sure they're not devil, they're your parents, they should be able to understand and have that conversation with you. Now, the next thing you can also do is to compromise. Now, the word compromise can be negative and or positive, but I'm talking about compromising in a positive way. If there are things they say you shouldn't do in the house at the moment, and you can afford not to do them, then avoid it at the moment. For instance, some parent tells you, you don't do this in my house, you won't chew gum, for instance, you won't wear trousers, you won't open your ears, you won't pierce your ears in my house, you won't do this, you won't do that. Accept it. Hello, don't go striving with them. They're your parents, and at the moment you're still dependent on them. You are still loyal. You should still be loyal to them. So avoid whatever they said you should avoid. And that way, when it's time for you to be independent, for you to move away, you can easily start doing those things that you think are not really wrong, but they don't just like. For instance, myself, as a teenager, my parents never wanted me to pierce my ears because it was against our religious background. But a time came, I thought to myself, I need to do this for so reason. I had the conversation with them, and after a while, it actually did take a while, but they gave in to that request of mine. So as a teenager, if you are still dependent on them, then there are so many things you need to compromise on. If you like to play your music very loud, but you are in a house where your parents don't like loud music, then you should compromise. You should stop playing loud music. You could use your earphone, headset, and all of that to play it so that you won't get into trouble with them. So that's what I mean by compromising. Next is that you have to be careful not to fertilize their fears. Now, the reason some of our parents give us restrictions as teenagers is because they're afraid if they leave us too much, we'll spoil. In their words, you go haywire. You get distracted in life. So that's why I'm saying you shouldn't fertilize their fears. Those concerns they have. As teenagers, we are suspects. Your parents, they look at you, okay, what are you doing with that boy? Who is that girl? Who is your friend? Why are you doing that? They're always suspicious, not because they hate us, not because they want us to be uncomfortable around them for the most part, but because they want our best. They have our best interest at heart. So one of the things you should do for yourself and for your parents is not to fertilize their fears. Those things that they are afraid of, those things they don't want you to do, those fears of theirs, don't fertilize them. Some of the reasons they don't want you to keep certain friends is that they don't want you to end up as a cultist. They don't want you to end up as an alcoholic. So don't get into that. Avoid those lifestyles that you know are a major concerns for them. Then again, you need to keep your vision burning. Now, as much as some of our parents don't want us to do certain things, maybe you want to read a particular course and they don't want you to read this course, they want you to do the other one instead. One of the things you could do at such situation is to seek counsel from a second party and know if this is right. If my parents are just being sentimental, maybe she was a nurse, and because she was a nurse and she thinks being a nurse is a lucrative career, she now wants me to go that path, whereas I want to be an artist. So if I know that doing this course or being in this career will not help me, I need to get a second party to talk with to see how I can navigate my way around it. Now, one of the things you may need to do is maybe to take the course that they want you to take as a first career and go for the subsequent one. Maybe by the time you get into higher institution, you get your ground, you get jobs that will help you work and earn while you school. You can now switch, because you are completely dependent on your parents. They are the ones paying your fees. So you really can't, there's an extent to which you can't really rebel against them, against their decisions, against their choices. So you could get a second party to help you. It could be a mentor, a coach, a counselor to help you, to look at it from a third eye and see how you can work around it. So that you don't go ahead to maybe be disobedient to your parents and it will spoil things for you, or be doing the things that that your parents want you to do and things will spoil for you as a person. So you need a second party, and you also need to keep the vision burning. Now, keeping the vision burning is where you need to say, okay, now that my parents have told me I can't do this while I'm still in the house, I need to keep the fire burning. I need to keep myself abreast with information in this area. Maybe let's say I want I want to be a social worker, I want to help people in the community, but she's saying she doesn't want me to do that kind of a thing, or my parents are saying they don't want me to get involved in such. What I can do is to keep reading materials, keep donating to charity organizations, keep doing things that will just keep me abreast with this passion of mine, so that as soon as I get independent, I can always go do that, okay? Now, these are some of the ways you could deal with difficult parents. Now, you don't have to look at your parents as devilish, as bad, as a limitation. I mean, like I said initially, they love you, they want your good, but you need to understand them and then work with them to be a better person. Thank you for staying till the end of this video. I love you.